This is insane because episode 7 of The Boys is the best episode this season. Let's talk about it. Starting with the absolutely sickening musical number about Homelander becoming God. Homelander in the White House was just scary to see. Him saying every boundary between church and state needs to be abolished and breastfeeding is just now mandatory is just hilarious, but also terrifying. And I mean, killing the president was just par for the course at this point. If you'd have told me in season 1 that Ashley would be the president of the United States by season 5, I would have called you crazy, but here we are. And finally seeing the Gen V people was great. This was long overdue. Since when did hopeless and naive become the same thing? That callback with Marie saying it to Starlight was really well done. And I love Starlight's reaction to it. I'm absolutely loving her character arc this season. And I don't really understand the thought process behind Kimiko trying to get Soldier Boy's power. I understand they're grasping at straws, but I feel like that's completely hopeless because I feel like the reason that Soldier Boy was able to attain that power is because he's just so powerful that he's able to take all of that nuclear energy or whatever it was. And then Huey standing up and saying that they lost was actually really surprising and sad. And then Butcher talking about the Spice Girls again was another great callback. I loved that in season 1. Also, I like how Homelander acknowledges that the 7 hasn't been 7 in literal years, because I always found that very weird. And then the Deep just begging to be the leader of the 7 was hilarious. I really don't know where his character is going, honestly. And we just have this. It looks like another birthright citizen. Like, what? Sage lobotomizing herself was pretty sad, but I'm glad she acknowledged her being with Godolkin because it really felt like Gen V Season 2 was complete filler. Samuel L. Jackson playing a hammerhead shark in The Boys is just something I never knew I needed. This show's so funny. And then we have transgender immigrant. I mean, I don't know where they come up with this stuff. I don't even know what to say about this scene. It's just crazy. And Soldier Boy wanting to leave honestly makes sense for his character, and I was kind of hoping he would leave because he's still a horrible person, but compared to other suits, especially like Homelander, he's not that bad. That's why they were able to work with him in season 3. And him saying fixing up the old Impala to Homelander has to be a supernatural reference. And of course, Homelander doing Homelander things, he's gonna just knock Soldier Boy out and put him back in the box. And this explanation, he turned Butcher's powers off. I mean, that just, to me, that's just a really lazy way of keeping them secured. I didn't really like that very much. And then this scene with Frenchie finally deciding that he wants to settle down with Kimiko was so sad, especially knowing what happens later. And hearing a Cordina name drop in The Boys was not something I ever expected, but it was pretty funny. Starlight telling MM that she doesn't think these people are worth saving, and then MM explaining to her through his backstory of how he got the name Mother's Milk of how anyone is worth saving was a really, really good moment. Probably the best scene in the episode, other than the obvious. And MM was telling Starlight that he was just a motherfucker and he used to be a motherfucker with a heart was a great callback to when MM and Butcher were first on screen together. I'm absolutely loving the callbacks to this episode. I mean, another weird ass scene. This show just knows no bounds. Learning that only 6 people actually believe that Homelander was like God or whatever makes a lot more sense. I love this moment between Huey and Butcher, and I really, really hope they get to go to the juicy rack, but I have a feeling they're not going to be able to. And seeing Jeffrey D. Morgan come back was a treat, but learning the backstory with Joe Kessler and Butcher and that whole thing was really crazy. I was not expecting that. And then them actually killing the people that don't believe was insane. And then we get to this scene. My heart was racing the whole time before, and then we all knew what was going to happen. We all realized it at the same time. It doesn't make it any less devastating. R.I.P. French, he was an amazing character. Probably one of the saddest scenes in the show, if not the saddest scene in the show. I feel so empty after watching this episode. This is really the first death that made me feel genuinely sad outside of even the show. But I have really high hopes for episode 8. I really hope they wrap things up in a good way.